Hello everyone! Artec Studio 20 is here with all the new features for photogrammetry and 3D scanning. Let me tell you everything that you need to know. Please make sure that you are subscribed and enable the notifications not to miss out any of our future videos. Alright, so let's get started and let's start with the workflows. As I said before, it's our new biggest feature in Artec Studio 20. So the idea of this feature is that it comes instead of the auto mode that we had before in Artec Studio 19 and the previous version, but the workflows is a much more improved version of it. So basically the idea of workflows is to automate the processing of your data and allow you to create a customizable sequence of Artec Studio tools operations. So as you could see on the screen, we have processed this pipe, those pipe scans, and we had 5 different HD Leo scans. We have made a specific sequence for them. We have made the auto alignment, the global registration, the fusion, the mesh optimization, artifact healing, and as a result, we've done the texturing. And actually, all of that is possible with just a single click of a button once you set up this sequence one time. So let's take a closer look at it. So as you could see on the right, we have 5 objects selected in the workspace, and it's a crucial part actually. So if you would like to utilize the workflows, then you are going to need all of the entities that you would like to process highlighted in the workspace for the algorithm to take them into the account. And on the left, you could see the user interface of the workflows. Don't worry, we're going to cover it in more details a bit later. So on the left, you could see a complete sequence of the tools that is going to be applied to this selection. And so there is no auto alignment here. So let's imagine that we have enabled the auto alignments of the scans on the Leo itself during the scanning. And that's why the first step that we need to do is the registration. But please keep in mind that in order for the workflows to work, you should do the manual import first. We're going to cover the automatic import a bit later, so it's a bit more advanced part. But for now, let's say that we have imported those scans manually into Artec Studio, and they have come pre-aligned. So as you could see, once the workflows algorithm has completed and all of the steps have successfully been completed as well, we get the beautiful textured model, which is being highlighted automatically in the workspace, just for the convenience for you to look at your results right away. All of the previous selection is deselected, so the HD Leo scans remain unselected. And that's actually a very important part. I will tell why that matters a little bit later on. Let's actually see how can we create the workflows. You will find workflows at the top of the tools panel. By default, there are some workflows that are being shipped with Artec Studio, some basic ones, but feel free to delete them if you don't need them, or feel free to create your own workflows. So it's completely up to you. So let's click this plus button, and then we will end up with this menu. So here, this is actually the workflows window. We have removed the auto mode completely from Artec Studio because workflows, they are much better and they can do everything that the auto mode could do. So yeah, and once you have created your workflow, once you click on the Add Tools button, you could see all of the available tools available for the workflows. So I believe that most of those operations, most of those tools would be familiar to you. But here we have a bit more workflows tools than there is available in the regular manual mode. So for instance, let's take a look what we have here. Auto alignment first. So that's the first thing that we have. Of course, you could do the alignment via the alignment tab as usual, but here it is not necessary to it is not absolutely necessary to align all of those scans manually. You could utilize the auto alignment tool after you have used the eraser. So the erasing process should be done manually, but that's also not always the case. Because, for example, on Artec Studio, you could enable the automatic base removal, you could enable automatic base removal on Spider, EVA, and other handheld scanners. So in most cases, when you're scanning some sort of an object which is located on a plane, which is usually the case, then you won't even need to run the eraser, and you could start with auto alignment right away. So the second new tool that we can see right here is texture. We didn't have texture in the tools panel, but now it's available in the workflows. So once you have created your final model, you will be able to texture it right in workflows without the need of manual processing. Also, two completely new operations that we have that are useful for automation are export and launch. As you could see, they are located at the bottom of the list. So let's talk why they actually may come to use. There are some software packages such as Control-X, for example. So if you are doing some sort of quality inspection work, quality assurance on a bunch of details, then this software may come to use. And the feature that it has, which is really convenient, is that Control-X can monitor some sort of directory and check if there are any new models appearing there. So you could combine that together with Artec Studio. You could add the export tool right into workflows so that the resulting mesh that is like the end of the sequence will be automatically exported to the directory that you have specified, and it will be exported in the it will be exported as STL, OBJ, or in other file formats as you specify. You could export with texture or without the texture, but the idea is that now you could do it automatically. And also, once the workflow has completed, you could, for example, launch a third-party software. You just have to specify the path to the executable file of this software. And for example, once we have processed some sort of a part and exported it to a directory, we can launch Control-X executable, and it would automatically start searching for the new meshes in the folder that is specified in Control-X, and it would find the mesh that we have exported previously. So once you have created a workflow and specified the tool order that you would like to apply to your use case, it's time to rename your workflow. So first of all, it's possible to add a custom name. As you could see, we have changed the name for the workflow from MyFlow1 to FastFlow It's made just for the convenience for you, for the user to understand which workflow does what. And also it's possible to add a description, which might be really convenient, especially if you're planning to share this workflow with a client or with someone within your organization. So once we have created the proper name for our workflow, we can finish this creation and adjust the algorithms that we have added. So that is one huge benefit and advantage of the workflows over the auto mode that we had previously. So first of all, you can adjust all of the settings inside the different algorithms. So as you could see right here, we're making a workflow for fast low poly processing. That is why we have chosen a low resolution output texture size. So this workflow we're going to use for the fast preview of our data so that we could understand if it's possible to receive something good out of it and whether we have whether our sequence works right. And all of those settings for each of the tools will be saved in the workflows file. So if you reopen Artec Studio, if you export this workflow and transfer it to your colleague, for example, and they import it to Artec Studio on their own, all the settings that you have adjusted are going to be preserved. Also, this workflows canvas is quite smart. So as you could see, you could drag and drop the algorithms to adjust the sequence. And here we intentionally moved the mesh simplification too high, above the fusion step, and you could see that we got a warning sign. So that's because the mesh simplification, of course, can be applied only to the mesh and not to the scan raw data. So this warning sign prompts us that this algorithm should be repositioned somewhere in this tree. So once we move the mesh simplification underneath the fusion, then our workflow will once again become functional. So if you have let's say a wrong sequence for the workflow, then the run button is going to be grayed out and you won't be able to start this workflow. So once again, it is done to prevent some sort of unexpected errors that might happen and to help new Artec Studio users to easier navigate through all of those algorithms. So let's see what we can do with the workflows once we have created them. So first of all, of course, we can delete them, we can run them, and we can duplicate them. So yeah, here we can create a copy of this fast low poly algorithm. We can duplicate it. And we would like to duplicate it because we would like to use the fast low poly as a preview, and then we're going to use the same sequence of operations, but we're going to adjust the settings within them. So we are going to change the parameters for the registration, fusion probably, and the texturing step to achieve a higher quality for our end result. So yeah, it's just one more convenient tool to navigate through workflows. You could use this duplicate button, and as you could see, we have created a full processing workflow out of this fast low poly workflow. It's just for the convenience to make the processing, to make the creation of the workflows faster. And once we're satisfied with all of the settings and with the sequence of the actions inside the workflow, we can run it. Let's take a look at multiple scenarios that might happen during the processing of the workflows. So first of all, in the first screenshot on the left, you could see the user interface, this icon, when the workflows are running. So here we can tell that the outlier removal step is undergoing, so we should wait for it to complete. And we can see that auto alignment and registration have already completed, and fusion and mesh optimization are yet to be started. If everything goes according to the plan, if we have adjusted all of the settings inside our algorithms properly, and if we have a proper input data, then it is expected that everything will be completed successfully. And here you could see it on the second screenshot in the middle, that once the workflow is completed, there is this done button appearing, and you could see the tick signs next to each of the steps in the algorithm. But sometimes workflows may actually fail. So we can see it on the third screenshot, and we can see that fusion step has for some reason failed, and we can see this cross icon next to it. So we wanted to account for as much cases as possible. So definitely it's possible that some algorithm within this sequence might fail for some reason. So for instance, if the hardware, if the computer does not have enough RAM, and the computer has run out of RAM, the fusion algorithm may fail, and therefore, as you see, the workflow will be stopped on this step, but do not worry. So all of the steps that have been completed before the failed one, they're going to be saved, so you won't lose your progress. And in the case of a failed workflow, in this case, we're going to end up with the processing made up to the outlier removal step. So nothing will be deleted. It is possible to share workflows as well. It is really convenient feature that you might utilize. Once you have exported your workflow, you can actually select which workflows you would like to export, as you could see on this second screenshot, and then different Artec Studio users, they can import those workflows into their studio, and they will appear under this workflows section in the tools. It may be really convenient. And let's take a look on how you could actually use those workflows in practice. Let's take a look at multiple different scenarios when they may come to use. So firstly, workflows opens the opportunity for a single button workflow for photogrammetry. Actually true one button workflow. Here, as you could see on the first screenshot, we have a sequence for AI photogrammetry, a complete sequence. So once the user has imported the photos into Artec Studio, then they have to just click this one button, and as a result, they are going to end up with a textured, optimized model, which is ready for export. You could also even add an export tool to the sequence. Therefore, once the user clicks on this workflow button, after some time, after everything is processed, they're going to end up with a model already exported to some sort of directory. So that might be really convenient, especially once again for the new users. Let's take a look at the second workflow that we have, which is called Photos for Multiple Assets. Let's discuss what we can see here. So here we have multiple steps. We have, as you see, two mesh simplifications. And let's talk why that may actually be needed in some sort of an industry. So it's quite common practice, for example, for CGI, field, for 3D artists working with engines, working with third-party 3D software in order to create visuals, in order to create games, and so on, so on. It's a common practice to create two models. For example, in this case, we're going to create a high poly model first, and then we're going to create a low poly model later on. So what is the reason for that? We can actually bake normals from a high poly model onto the low poly model in third-party software once again, so that may come to use there. And basically this is done in order to save up some resources and fake the high poly model with just the texture, file of a normal map. So this may be really useful. And why do we need to simplify a model that much in the first place? Because, for example, let's say we're even making a model for some sort of an online shop, a web shop, and there we are appending, for example, Sketchfab there. So if we have a model that has fewer polygons, but it still looks great, it will take much less time to display. It will be more lightweight. If we bake like normal maps from high poly model onto the low poly model in third-party software, then we're also going to preserve the lighting as if our model had much more polygons. So let's take a look at the third workflow. It is not necessary to use the workflow as a full sequence, like a full processing pipeline. As you could see, you could use it just for the mesh repair process. Here we have all of those typical tools that you would like to use for most of the models. So artifact healing, hole filling, and mesh simplification are the typical tools that I use on a daily basis when working with such data. And using this workflow would help me to save up a few clicks, to save up some time. So it might be really convenient to speed up those like tiny, easy processes. Also, yeah, the mesh repair process is usually interchangeable between the different projects. It's usually the same. In most of the cases, of course, there are outliers, but in most cases it's all the same. So that is why you could use just the mesh repair workflow all the time. That's just an idea how you could utilize the workflows. And on the last screenshot on the right, you could see the full pipeline. So that's what we recommend you to try for your projects, even if you won't use it on a daily basis. We recommend to at least try, because not only it helps for the new users of Artec Studio, but also it might be really convenient for experienced users, because it saves a lot of downtime on your projects. So for instance, with this workflow, you could leave Artec Studio running overnight and process all of the data overnight, and you could save a lot of time of the guy who is responsible for processing. Also, even if you're doing this like during in parallel, if you're doing processing in parallel with different tasks and you're using the manual approach, there still might be some downtime between launching the algorithms. So yeah, it's normal if an employee can get distracted by something. So here, this workflow, once one tool is completed, it automatically launches the next one. So that is why it might be really convenient for different types of audiences. All right, so let's move on further and take a look at other use cases that we can utilize for the workflows. You may create, so for instance, if you have a Leo scanner and you're doing scanning jobs on site typically, and you're doing scanning jobs of different types of objects. So for example, you're doing, sometimes you're scanning medium-sized objects, and sometimes you're scanning large-sized objects such as a car, for example. Then you might create different workflows to accommodate for those different scenarios. So for example, for small objects, we would like a fusion with a better resolution, and we would like the hole filling radius to be smaller. But for large objects, we might sacrifice the resolution in favor of the speed of the processing, and we might set the hole filling radius larger. Yeah, that is it for the manual workflows part. Please don't forget to like this video, Drop your comments and share this video with your colleagues and your friends. If you have an existing subscription for Artec Studio, please know that you may update your version to Artec Studio 20. If you don't have one, you can purchase it via your reseller or right on our website.